The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another extra special Power Trading Hour. And as always, it doesn't matter where you're at, as long as you're here at the appointed time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And we were going to have Tim Ord on today. He will be here next Thursday. He's having technical issues. He got one chart across to me, and I think that was about it. And then everything blew up on his end. So he said just wait until next Thursday. So we'll go back and look at it. We'll talk to him next week. Just save all your questions up for then. Other things going on in the market. Well, we've had a pretty massive turnaround, and I'm here to kind of tell you.
I informed you thusly.
Yes, I did. What did I do?
I informed you thusly.
Yes, I did. When we last left, we were talking about many of the stocks that had done double repo patterns. We'll go back and look at some of the ones that haven't quite turned yet. We'll also talk today about the ones that had, and several emails already from subscribers. We did go short and pretty much got all the wood on the bat with this one. As we suggested, you don't want to be short all the time, but there are a lot of clues at the scene of the crime. I've been good so far. I'm trying to remember which song those two link up. I'm trying to think Elvis Costello, but then I'm also thinking Life's Been Good to Me by Joe Walsh. Anyway, everything reminds me of something else. But anyway, we're down 40 points on the S&P cash after being up 50 or 60 or whatever. Earlier in the day, we were up over 4,500 on the S&P cash. We were talking about... I got a few questions out here. We'll go through those. But kind of in general, why did I go short this morning from my subscribers? And that was that there was one sector that probably should have bounced and started seeing some love if we were going higher. It did not. And there is kind of one of those things where you talk about the dog that didn't bark. And that's what I saw this morning. And that is, if the market's not doing exactly what it should do, then there's probably something else going on. So we should have seen a couple other sectors rally off of what was heavy selling and has been for a little while, and it did not. Now, just because it is a market of stocks, not a stock market, there are some stocks that are doing well. We talked about it in the den earlier this morning. Each day in my newsletter, I have the most hated stocks from the FINRA data. And, of course, Twitter was getting all the anti-love yesterday. And, of course, if you want to go higher in a stock, just make sure that everybody else is shorting the living daylights out of it. Probably the best key is to be on the opposite side of that most times, not all times. There are some other reasons why I was short, and we're going to get into the trend on the Amex. But this is how bear markets work. They get you all lathered up, all hot and bothered. And guess what? It's just Lucy again pulling the ball away from Charlie Brown, and you're on your ass. 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And what else do we have here? I'm going to forego a lot of the standard stuff out there just to get into the charts to look and see what we're doing. I tend to trade only at the major inflection points in the markets. And as we said yesterday, we were looking for some kind of high to come into the market in the next 2 days, somewhere between Wednesday and Friday. It extended a little bit to this morning's open, but it was pretty plain when about 10 minutes through the trading morning, I was ready to pull the ripcord and short as much stuff as I could. Again, this is I have two newsletter. One's more of a long term where I'm trying to maybe 2 weeks, 2 months kind of thing. The other one is where I'm assuming that you're within 15 or 20 minutes of clicking a mouse. The other one, I'm thinking that you could be in and out by the end of the day and still be okay. The more on the technology side, the technology insider, I'm not going to do a lot of really quick trades, but the daily path of least resistance did, as I said, go in and put my head in the lion's mouth, and now getting wildly, being wildly renumerated, some numeration, lots of bucks. So thanks for all the emails from the subscribers out here and others. Okay. First, and then we'll get into some of the other ones out here. Why is NVIDIA being pummeled? Again, we talked about a lot of the problems with that we've seen in the semis, and that is a shortage of wafers to actually make it, and two, they pretty much announced a lot of new products, and those new products mean that you're going to have new computers, new memory, everything else. And I think there's a little bit of what we've been talking about the last couple of days, which is the Osborne effect. That is announcing stuff. In fact, NVIDIA, interestingly enough, the next product, which I will probably buy, is going to use about 600 watts. To give you an idea, generally most PCs today that are kind of the consumer brand maybe ship with a 400-watt PC power supply, maybe 450. This card by itself, without anything else, is going to take 600 watts of power. This is kind of like having a blow dryer on all the time just for that GPU card, much less the processor memory and everything else that's going on it. So I think that besides the markets being crappy and being in a bear market, which is problematic, I've made no bones of my belief of this being a bear market and that we were going to get walloped going into by the first week of May. I think that still goes on, and we need to go test that 4110 or so. So don't be surprised if stocks go down in a bear market. You really want to wait for a retest of those lows, in my opinion. Maybe something changes, but I still think that is the ultimate in the market. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
As we return, we will take a quick gander at the NVIDIA chart. Actually, could be worse. You're only doing about half the volume of the first January 24th low. So this thing could pull back into the trading range. Not a big fan of going after stocks that go up on the same energy they go down on. Like I said, it could be a lot worse for NVIDIA. A lot of people are boo-hooing this company. Stocks go up, stocks go down. Yeah, do I still think this is a $1,000 company? Yes. But in a bear market, as they say, the tide lets all boats sink. So just be aware of that. And again, we were talking a great deal over the last couple of days of some of the other stocks. Everybody going to the stern of the Titanic. That continues today in some of these, like Walmart, still higher. If you want to know when markets are going to crack, wait for everybody to dive into bonds for a while. When they get roasted there, they're going to go back into stocks like Procter & Gamble and Walmart. My guess is they're still trying to do that today. But again, you're going to hit resistance even on those, and that's kind of it. And eventually, the same thing every bear market that I've ever seen or gone back and researched does the same thing. Everybody says we're going to get into stocks that have lots of dividends, and the dividends won't go away. And the dividend goes away, and not only do they lose the dividend, they lose a huge amount of the stock price eventually. That doesn't happen right off, but it does happen eventually. So if you're one of those folks, enjoy your dividend over the next quarter. And then look at it from being suspect from then on, because it almost always happens. 877-927-6648. You enjoy my cheer. Enough with the negative waves. I'm getting a lot of emails today. Let me say that. Anyway, let's go back here. Great timing on your bearish call this morning. You held a bearish stance in the face of a big rally yesterday. Congratulations. Okay. What else? I want to thank you. I went with the calls. I did 2 this morning. Again, sometimes like this morning, by the time I would get something out on a option trade, it may be too late. So I'll just fire off a call on the ETF to make sure everybody has an opportunity to get into it. But I went with the calls also, the calls on a bearish ETF, that is, by the way. But thanks, Brent. See. And another question. KK from 1313 Mockingbird Lane says, I don't understand the VIX and the way it works. I sent them a couple of links. If you want those links too, just go ahead and email me, and I'll send you the same ones that KK got, who lives at 1313 Mockingbird Lane, and let you know. But I bring this up, I don't know, once a week, once a month, a couple times a month, sometimes 3 or 4 times a show. And that is, if you do not read the paper, white paper on the VIX from the CBOE, you're not going to understand it. They have put up a nice little video, though, that I noticed today and sent out to KK also. But they've got examples in there. And, yeah, there's a bunch of funny symbols that look like you're reading the side of a building from a pyramid from 4,000 years ago. But they break it down in that white paper. And if you got basic 8th grade math skills, you should be able to put it into an Excel spreadsheet. But if you do that once, you will understand how the VIX actually works. And most people do not. It's a mathematical exercise. It isn't reality for the most part. Sometimes it is. But a lot of people have really no concept, and they continue to fight me on this issue. Do not fight the Fed, and do not fight me on the VIX. If you don't understand that it's a mathematical abstraction of the market, you will not understand why it does not always act the way you think it should. 877-927-6648. What else we have? Okay. So we got most of those things out of the way. Let's take a quick look at Apple. As we said, Apple was one of the first stocks to do this double repo pattern. We're going to go into a lot of stocks that are probably going to do this over the next couple of weeks. So you want to keep a close eye on them if you want to see why stocks fail or how they fail. It's better than a parabolic SAR in my stance. Joe DiNapoli came up with this thing on an Osborne CPM machine in 1981 or 2 or something. And it's still one of the patterns that it's not quite as bad as Justice Stevens, who said, I don't know what pornography is, but I know it when I see it. This is actually a fairly easy pattern to see. It's just not always looks like the textbook. But 10 to 15 days in a bear market, 10 to 15 days above the 3x3, a day or two below it, a day or two above it, and then boom, you start really seeing the sell-off. Now, Apple, again, can come back and buy their shares anytime they want, but it's still for sale. We saw the same thing in Microsoft. And again, these are the stocks that control the market. Now, would you get the opposite thing with Microsoft, i.e., a close below and then the next close above, where you could see a bounce? That certainly could be it. That's why I'm starting to look at stocks that will be in the next wave to be sold, I believe. ABM Industries, when you look at this, a failure would bring back to about $46, but really go back to the 6th of April, and you just see these things going straight up. That's not the way stock markets do. And as Larry Pesavento says, any stock or market that can give you that kind of money can take it away. But generally, if it just goes straight up, and I love the 3x3, the 9-day is just not as quick, but it's still pretty good. And we'll just go over to that very quickly. Traditional moving average. Again, it's the same thing. It just I like the forward-looking ability of the 3x3 displaced moving average. That's just taking the average of the last 3 days and putting it 3 days out in the future. That's why this line out here exists out in nothingness, back to the future charts, as I would say. Other stocks out here, as I said, probably should have bounced. And you've got a little bit out here in Amgen. But again, I think pretty light volume, about 1 million shares into a 3 million share high. We're getting ready for the turn, I believe. We'll be back in a minute.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN has just launched their new trading room, the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. And now they are expanding their reach with the Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. In the Tiger's Den, you can look over the shoulders of Tom O'Brien and the other TFNN hosts while they analyze charts during their live Tiger TV programs, and join an interactive trading community with hundreds of members exchanging ideas. Interact with other tigers and tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day, even at night and on the weekends. The Tiger's Den at Discord is accessible on mobile or tablets as well, so it's always at your reach. To sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders, just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And hopefully we're back. I can't, did I miss something? Maybe I missed the music disc cracked. Okay. Just getting an email out to all our gentle listeners. Or actually, one gentle listener had a question. We'll do it here. 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And I don't know. I've got a bunch of charts from Tim Ord. Maybe he's calling in. I do not know. Any chance that happened? I will email him and ask. Apparently he got his computer working, and I got 3 chart 2s from him, so maybe he's got it all figured out here. Okay. There we go. Okay. And let's go back to the rest of the charts. Anyway, question about Tesla. I don't know if that was for me in the den. You've got a nice pattern out here for a double repo. And that is, again, 10, 15 days above, a few days below, a couple of days above. You got 1 day below. That was on earnings. You popped back above it. The next one would say a break and would say you go back to where you started, in which case that'd be about 850 on Tesla. AUY, just the first break underneath it, not as much as you would think a double repo pattern would be. And on this one, if gold rolls over out here, you look to where these things started. That would mean back to $5.60. BSM, Blackstone Minerals, another one that broke today after being on an absolute tear from the 18th of March. You came out. You don't have a lot of volume yet. And again, a lot of these times, they just don't fall off the side of the earth. Sometimes they do. But if you want a really good pattern, make a lot of money, you wait for it to go south for a couple of days. It goes back above. And then the next move below is when these things start blowing out. And generally, we've already had that with most of the bigger stocks in the market. And that's why when we started heading lower today, we really got a tear out here. Of course, we're off 38 points after being up some 50, down 34, actually. So we'll see how the rest of the day plays out. ConAgra Foods, again, everybody going to the stocks that they think are safe, probably getting ready to top out. You've got a giant gap down going back to June 8th of 2021. And that was on 2.6 million shares. Yeah, actually 4 million shares today. My guess is you're probably going to fill that gap and then have a lot of people exit stage left, and then you'll get an opportunity to buy it on the pullback. Techrum Commodity Fund, another one that's been ripping, starting to see a little bit of a pullback there. CPB, Okay, NKE, we'll take a quick look. Yeah, this was the one where if you wanted to go long, it would have been, we're talking about Nike. You had to move down. You closed above it. You closed below it. Then the next close above it, which would have been with this day, you get a nice candle and you get some decent volume. So, yeah. Now, again, doesn't mean that you're going to have a long-term trade on this. Only means in the short term, generally, once you get above that, you're going to get some more money. You're in the previous high of 20 million shares with 5 million shares today. So that says take your money and run. And also another great song from who? Who remembers that? I want to say 1973 or 4. Hey, take the money and run. Yep, everybody got it. Steve Miller. Okay, Comstock Resources. Again, this has been on the upside of this since the 17th. We're going to close below it. And then that starts, sometimes you just pull back, and in which case at $14, you'd probably look at that and say, that's the previous gap up on that. We'll take a look at it. Ideally, if you think this thing's going to fall apart and you still believe in the long term of some of these, you have to kind of sit through a couple of days of it being underneath the 3x3, and then the next move higher. Then if it closes below it, run like hell. But, these things will not roll over instantly. for the most part. Stocks like Dollar General doing that up here, they're going to go sideways for a little while. You're probably going to get an opportunity to have this thing re-challenge the high in these double repo patterns. And if you then start to fail, that's where the huge destruction comes. If you're trading intraday, probably not such a big deal. But if you're holding these stocks for a week, 2 weeks on a trade or a month, you want to make sure that as soon as these things start in these double repo patterns, put in a stop. Just do it. Don't think about it again. It doesn't have to be a close stop. Just put in a stop. And that's because, again, like I said, I think we're in a bear market, and you're going to see these rips down. And my guess now, with being down 30 today, we're probably going to see that selling going into the weekend. DTE Energy Company, DTE is the symbol on this one, been on the high side here from the 24th of March. So we'll take a look at that. Again, when you see these things in the long run, if they do fail up here and do the double repo, down a little bit, back up a little bit, then fail, that's generally when they race right back down to the starting point. That'd be 128 on this one. If they just instantly fail, you start looking for the retracements on where to buy them. And on this one, 122.85, so it's still rather large. What can you say? That's a 2-year. Let's go to a little shorter one out here and turn that off so we can look at it. Oh, you also want to know where your, I'll do that again, want to know where your confluence levels are. In this one, it's big and fat, so it's not predictably great, but it does kind of come in this last three-soldier moving higher, which ended on the 4th of March for DTE, which also is kind of the top end of this confluence range. We handled confluence a couple of days ago. Okay. Got it. Okay. So EQT, again, these are patterns, if you missed today's move, that you want to start watching and develop over the next couple of days. This has been on the positive side since the 17th of March. Now, you've got the first day that's probably going to be a close on lighter volume. That's the key. You kind of meander down below this for a couple of days. You go back above it. Then the next close below it is the one where the huge destruction is. And this one could go back to 28 or so. We'll be back.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
As we return, Mimi wants to know about TBT long. And, well, certainly this falls into the category of the cow has already left the barn. I'm not one to chase. I think the better version of this to look at is the TLT. And the problem you have right now in the bonds, I don't think it's going to bounce. Don't think that Powell can do anything about it and still have any credibility whatsoever. He's only got a shred now. Maybe he just gives it all up. But the problem you have is that if he does decide to fold as a $5 as fast as a $5 suitcase, you got a confluence level at 133 on the TLT. That's where I would say the next opportunity would be, where I'd want to get into a short if you were not short already. I'm not a big fan of chasing these down. There are a ton of better trades developing. But if you wanted to go short bonds now, but you finished a really big, long ABC down, and at probably worst, you're going to get a bounce a little bit. And, if you were lucky, the bottom falls out. But my guess is that the Fed is going to be there to slow the roll on this. And by slowing the roll, they're going to have a lot of people think that it's going to bounce, that people are going to dive back into these as safety stocks. So could you just, on everybody thinking they'd rather park the money in bonds, see 133 TLT? The answer is yes. Is it a high probability? No. But you're probably going to get at least something out of here. You've completed your big moves down. In fact, let's take a look at just a standard expansion on this. And this is where I was getting my 122 that we'd been talking about for, a month out here. You got to it. It went below it. You got to 118.67. Now you're going to come back. My guess is that the Fed is probably going to try to stabilize this a little bit. People will misread it, and they'll all dive back in thinking this is a great place to be, only to go out of the frying pan and into the fire once again after some kind of interim bounce. Okay, so not a big fan. A lot of other stuff out here that you can chase that is a lot better. Okay, so we got out of those. See if we got anything else. Anyway, let's go back to some of these stocks that do look like they could have a pretty severe pullback after they top out. Doesn't matter how good a market is or a stock is if the market itself decides to turn on it. Entergy, ETR, no sign on this one other than the fact that if this does do anything bad, it could get back to 110. And again, these stocks are probably going to develop over the next week or so on some kind of topping pattern, and they're going to pull back. But the good part about this is they may not pull back that much. So if you're long, you probably don't care. But what's really sweet is that the puts on these things will probably be incredibly underpriced on them, and you can maybe, if you get the timing right, make a bunch of juice, which is kind of my thoughts on it. On this one, wouldn't be surprised to see what you have. Doji out here at 73.12 today. You could have an easy move back to 69, so keep a look at that. What else do we have out here? 5. That I kind of remember seeing this one today. Again, 5 below. Went to a gap that developed on the 10th of January. That came down with 2 million shares. You got into it today with 500,000 shares. So that's telling you just about everything you need out here. Okay. Okay. FLO. Flowers Foods. Okay. This one's a little less. It doesn't have the incredible move higher out here. Okay. Half the volume. Okay. Gilead Science up above its previous high. That was March 7th. That had 18 million shares yesterday, 7 million shares. Today, less than 4. So again, even in some of these biotechs that are higher, you got to watch out. As I said, a lot of these stocks that we looked at earlier in the week and the end of last week were these safety stocks. And you got the same thing. You just don't have a lot of volume even in these. General Mills up on 1.3 million shares. So look for these to pull back. On this one, you could get back to 71 fairly easy. HDSN, Hudson Technologies, not much volume there. Okay. Hawaiian Industries, I don't see much in that one. HP. This one giving a little sign out here that it's starting. It looks like it's going to solidly close below the 3x3. So again, pretty good part of the sector, the right sector to be in. But you are going to pull back a little bit. You're probably going to get one more attempt back into this over the next few days. Now, if that fails, that's the one to sell to HQY, Health Equity. There was one more out here. I think it was Hershey that I wanted to look at. Again, everybody looking for stocks that people think that will never go down. Very light volume today on a slightly higher high on the Hershey company, but no sell signal yet. Again, these are stocks that are going to develop over the next week or two. Horizon Pharma, biotechs should have bounced today, and they didn't. Let's go back to the IBB. They had been fairly bearishly sold off. Probably the best thing you can say about the IBB is there's not a lot of volume today. The last major low was 126.42 with 2.5 million shares. You only have 1.2 million shares, but you could still get back to 122 if the rest of the market continues to be in a sell-off mode. Okay, we continue to see the carnage, the gore. That's what they always remember, the movies where there was. I was watching or tuning in across TV yesterday, and I saw Zombieland, and I remember like they ordered 50 gallons of fake blood for it, and it wasn't enough. There's a lot of gore out here. Yep, 50 gallons worth of blood. Blood on the highway today. We're down 50 on the S&P cash.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we return, as we get an email from yet another gentle listener and subscriber. Is this the proverbial burning bush you talk of? And again, yes. Generally, or a lot of times, you'll get short-term signals that don't say a lot. But if you're thinking about bullish or bearish in the market, these are the kind of signals that are a blind man could find. So, yeah, you do and are getting a fairly big signal. The Fed continues to throw cold water on the market. It knows, or at least it thinks it knows, that everybody's way out in front of the skis. And the Fed's job, or the Fed's job in the past, has always been to let the air out of the market slowly. Unfortunately, it really does not have that power. The market is kind of binary, manic and depressive. Either things are good and getting better or bad or getting worse. And that's why you get these wild swings in the market. And that is because everybody kind of thinks one way or the other. There's not a lot of middle ground. Not a lot of people thinking things are just going to get a little better. They're all sure they're going to make a ton of money tomorrow or lose a ton of money tomorrow or make a ton of money tomorrow being short tomorrow. So as we get to watch the end of the day out here, we've talked about a lot of different issues. I didn't get to the Amex trend, which we'll try to get to tomorrow, which was one of the reasons why I was so bearish, even in the face of a big move yesterday. But you see that every day in my daily newsletter. You can always go to the front page of TFNN and subscribe and be like many others. So when you can, not when you have to, we will return. Like MacArthur to the Philippines tomorrow, same time, same bat channel.